If your miracle still hasn't arrived, stay with me until the end. St. Anthony is already prepared to surprise you. You who are weary from praying and watching nothing change, carrying the weight of a financial emergency, the pain of a broken home, or an impossible request that no one else understands. This is not chance, this is heaven's timing. Through this very powerful prayer to St. Anthony, the locked doors will begin to open, and what felt lost will be restored. Today is the turning point, and your urgent miracle has already started its journey toward you. This is the moment your story shifts. The tears you've hidden, the fears you've carried, the desperate cases that seemed beyond reach. St. Anthony has seen them all, and he is moving with divine purpose. Whether you seek healing, family restoration, financial advancement, or the return of something precious you've lost, you are not alone. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, heaven is aligning in your favor. If you believe this is your time, lift your voice and declare, "Glory to God, my blessing is coming." O Saint Anthony of Padua, tireless intercessor and friend of those facing desperate cases, I come before you with a heart heavy from battles I cannot win alone. You who have witnessed urgent miracles, erased impossible debts, and brought family restoration where there was only silence, look upon my situation with compassion. I surrender my fears, my financial emergency, and my silent wounds into your care. Through this impossible prayer that works, let the impossible shift in my favor. Open doors no man can close, and let this be the moment my blessing begins. I choose to stay in faith until the end, for I know my urgent help is already in motion. Beloved Saint Anthony, I entrust to you the relationships that are strained, the opportunities that feel lost, and the prayers that seem unanswered. You are the patron not only of finding lost things, but of restoring lost hope, lost peace, and lost love. Carry my cry to the throne of God, and let His mercy flood every corner of my life. Let this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles break the chains holding back my blessing. I believe the miraculous prayer today is not an accident. It is my divine appointment. Give me the courage to wait with faith and the strength to believe in what I cannot yet see. Holy miracle worker, I ask for your urgent help in places where my strength has run out. Where there is sickness, release healing. Where there is lack, bring financial advancement. Where there is division, bring peace and restoration of family relationships. Let your intercession turn my impossible requests into living testimonies of God's power. I will remain here, connected in this prayer, knowing the breakthrough is closer than it appears. And when it comes, I will proclaim for all to hear, "Glory to God," and thank you, Saint Anthony, for never leaving my side. The beginning of the miracle. When life feels like a closed door, it is easy to think the key no longer exists. But through this prayer to Saint Anthony, the faithful discover that heaven's keys never rust and never get lost. Every sigh, every whisper of pain you've carried is known before the throne of God. This is not the end of your story, it is the turning point. The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony has been the bridge for countless urgent miracles. And today, that bridge is for you. Believe that each word you speak in faith is unlocking something unseen. In moments of financial emergency, fear can cloud your vision. Bills pile up, opportunities disappear, and anxiety becomes your constant companion. Yet St. Anthony is no stranger to these storms. He has restored livelihoods, erased debts, and brought provision when all seemed lost. Through this miraculous prayer to St. Anthony, your empty hands are placed into the palms of heaven. Trust that even now, resources are moving in your direction. Your impossible requests are not too bold for the God who made the universe. Some people ask only for what feels reasonable, but faith was never meant to be safe. The impossible prayer that works invites you to pray for the extraordinary, the unimaginable, the miraculous. Saint Anthony has seen bodies healed after doctors gave up, families reunited after decades apart, and doors open in walls that seemed impenetrable. That same grace is available to you now. When the ache of a divided home weighs heavy, lift that burden into this prayer. Family restoration is more than bringing people back together. It is healing the deep fractures in trust and love. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, you're planting seeds of reconciliation in hearts that may not even realize they are ready. Saint Anthony waters those seeds with his intercession, and God gives the growth. Some blessings are instant, others are cultivated in quiet persistence. Waiting is not a punishment, it's holy ground. The urgent help you seek is already being woven into your life, even if you can't yet see the threads. Through this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, patience becomes your ally, not your enemy. Heaven's timing is always perfect, even when it feels slow. If sickness has invaded your home, speak healing into the air as you pray. Don't let illness have the loudest voice. Saint Anthony has witnessed countless bodies made whole and minds restored to peace. The miraculous prayer today is not dependent on the size of your faith, but on the greatness of God's mercy. Whisper the name of the one in need and believe that heaven hears. Debt can feel like a prison with no key, but God has ways of unlocking even the most secure chains. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, provision comes from places you never expected. You may not know the numbers, but God is not bound by your calculations. The financial advancement you need may already be on its way, disguised as an opportunity, a connection, or a breakthrough you never saw coming. When you've exhausted every human option, surrender becomes your strength. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony is a handoff. You release your fight to the one who never loses. Your impossible requests are carried higher than your own prayers could ever reach. And in that place, miracles are born. Some say, I've prayed before and nothing happened, but persistence is the soil where faith grows. The prayer that works instantly is not a magic formula. It is a lifeline, pulling you closer to the heart of God every time you speak it. Saint Anthony doesn't measure your faith by the absence of doubt, but by the presence of persistence. If something precious has slipped from your life, whether an item, a relationship, or your peace, know that it can be found again. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is a call to restoration. Sometimes God returns exactly what was lost. Other times, he gives something better. Either way, nothing surrendered to him is ever truly gone. The words you speak carry power. Say your impossible requests out loud, not as a wish, but as a declaration. Heaven responds to faith spoken boldly. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, your voice joins the countless others who have already received their breakthrough. Fear will always try to shrink your prayers. It will tell you that your urgent miracle is too much to ask. But Saint Anthony has stood in the gap for the least likely candidates and seen them blessed beyond measure. Grace is never about what you deserve. It is about the love of God that overflows. Forgiveness is a key to healing that many overlook. If resentment is locked in your heart, release it now. Family restoration flourishes in the soil of grace. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, ask for the strength to let go, even if it's one small piece at a time. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually a rescue. God knows what must be moved before your blessing can arrive safely. The miraculous prayer today is a pledge to trust even the detours. Saint Anthony moves with precision, never missing the appointed moment. When despair shouts louder than hope, let the prayer to Saint Anthony be your steady anchor. It reminds you that darkness never wins where light is welcomed. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is your light in the waiting. In seeking financial advancement, remember that generosity is a seed that multiplies. Even the smallest act of giving can open the door to unexpected provision. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, ask God for wisdom in sowing and faith in reaping. If your thoughts are clouded by worry, the impossible prayer that works can clear your spiritual vision. It's a reminder that your story is not over and your best chapters are ahead. Saint Anthony has seen turnarounds happen in a moment. Yours could be next. Your testimony matters. When your urgent help arrives, speak of it. Tell the story of the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony that carried you through. Your breakthrough can be the seed for someone else's faith. Peace is a gift that is not tied to circumstances. The prayer to Saint Anthony invites that peace into your heart now. You may still be in the storm, but peace lets you stand while the winds blow. Healing isn't always about removing the pain. Sometimes it's about receiving the strength to endure until the cure comes. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is for the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. Every move toward God is a step into blessing. This powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is your step today. Saint Anthony is already carrying your name into heaven's presence. If you trust that your urgent miracle is already on its way, declare now, "Glory to God, my blessing is coming." Walking through the waiting. There is a sacred strength in waiting, a strength that grows quietly beneath the surface. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, waiting is not wasted time. It is preparation for your miracle. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony teaches that God's timing is never rushed, never late, and always perfect. Even when you cannot see movement, heaven is aligning every detail. This is not the pause before the story ends. It is the pause before the breakthrough begins. Many people give up too soon, stepping away just before the blessing arrives. The impossible prayer that works calls you to hold on until the very last moment, trusting that the answer is closer than you think. Saint Anthony knows how to deliver miracles exactly when they will have the greatest impact. The delay is not denial, it is divine timing in action. In seasons of financial emergency, patience feels like a heavy burden. But it is often in these moments that God plants the seeds of provision in unseen soil. Through the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, divine strategies are released into your situation. Opportunities may be forming right now that will open doors you didn't even know existed. When praying for family restoration, understand that healing the heart is a process. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles works in layers, softening hearts, mending trust, and preparing the way for true unity. Saint Anthony is already tending to the roots, even if you can't yet see the fruit. The enemy will try to convince you that nothing is happening. But heaven's work is often invisible until the moment of manifestation. The prayer that works instantly begins shifting things the moment you speak it. While you wait, know that the spiritual realm is already moving. For those battling illness, the waiting can feel like a desert. But the miraculous prayer today assures you that you are never abandoned. Saint Anthony stands beside you, carrying your name to God's throne daily. Healing may be unfolding slowly, but it is unfolding. Debt and lack can make the weight feel unbearable. But the prayer to Saint Anthony teaches you to see beyond the numbers. Financial advancement often begins with small steps and wise stewardship. Heaven can multiply what seems insignificant into more than enough. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony is not a one-time plea. It is a daily posture of trust. Each day you remain in faith, you keep your heart aligned with heaven's best. The miracle is not only in the answer, but in the transformation happening within you as you wait. Your impossible requests may feel tangled beyond repair, yet God is the master of untangling what seems hopeless. Saint Anthony has brought resolution to cases that seemed sealed shut. This impossible prayer that works is the rope that pulls your blessing into the light. The waiting room of heaven is never empty. Angels are moving, people are shifting, and situations are realigning for your good. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony keeps you steady while God works on your behalf. Even when you feel stuck, you are being moved toward the answer. If bitterness tries to take root, replace it with gratitude. Thank God for what He has already done, even as you wait for what is to come. Gratitude, spoken through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, unlocks blessings faster than complaint ever could. When you pray for family restoration, visualize the reunion in vivid detail. Hear the laughter, see the smiles, feel the love renewed. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is not only words, it is faith-filled vision. Holding that vision keeps hope alive. The urgent miracle you seek may not arrive as you expect. Sometimes God delivers something even greater than what you imagined. The prayer to Saint Anthony aligns your heart so you can recognize His best when it arrives. Healing is not only for the body, it is also for the mind weighed down by fear and the soul burdened by grief. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony invites complete restoration from the inside out. In financial emergencies, fear can push you toward hasty decisions. But the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony calms your spirit and reminds you that provision flows from faith, not panic. Saint Anthony has been the answer for countless people who saw no way forward. Your impossible requests may be invisible to others, but they are never invisible to God. Through the prayer that works instantly, Saint Anthony carries them with urgency to heaven's throne. Every second matters, and your case is never forgotten. The quiet seasons are where your roots grow deepest. The miraculous prayer today reminds you that you are not just waiting for the miracle, you are becoming the person who can carry it. Saint Anthony waters your faith until it blooms. If the wait feels endless, trust that God is preparing both the blessing and you. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles ensures that when your answer arrives, you will be able to keep it. Many lose blessings they were not ready to carry, but that will not be your story. The urgent help you need is like a guiding light in a dark hallway. You may not see the open door yet, but each step in prayer brings you closer. Trust that Saint Anthony is lighting the way. It's tempting to compare your journey to others, but the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony is not about their timing. It's about yours. Your miracle is tailored to your life and will arrive in your season. Let the very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony remind you that the process is part of the promise. The waiting shapes your testimony so that when you tell it, others will see the glory of God. When you feel weary, speak life over your situation. Declare that your impossible requests are already being answered. The prayer to Saint Anthony is your anchor when doubt tries to pull you away. If you believe the wait is not wasted and your urgent miracle is already in motion, speak now. Glory to God. My miracle is worth the wait. Strengthening the faith that sustains the miracle. Faith is the invisible bridge between your prayer and your breakthrough. Without it, your words are like seeds scattered on stone. With it, even the impossible requests begin to bloom. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you are not only speaking your needs, but building a foundation strong enough to hold the blessing. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony teaches that faith is not about what you see, but about what you know deep in your spirit. When fear knocks, faith must answer. Fear will whisper that your financial emergency is permanent, that your family restoration is unrealistic, that your urgent miracle is too far gone. But the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony shouts louder, reminding you that heaven has the final say. Saint Anthony has stood beside countless believers who dared to believe against all odds. The impossible prayer that works is not reserved for those with perfect faith, but for those willing to hold on when every reason says to let go. Even a mustard seed of faith can move the mountains blocking your blessing. When you pray for family restoration, don't just imagine the broken pieces glued back together. See them remade stronger, able to withstand storms that once tore them apart. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles rebuilds, not just repairs. Faith for financial advancement is trusting God's math over yours. You may see only lack, but the prayer to Saint Anthony positions you for opportunities that were never on your calendar. Saint Anthony knows how to open doors you didn't even knock on. The urgent help you seek is not out of reach. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony assures you that even when nothing appears to be moving, heaven's clock is counting down to your answer. Faith is trusting the countdown even when you can't see the timer. When asking for healing, faith is not just hoping you'll feel better. It's expecting wholeness to manifest. The miraculous prayer today aligns your heart with the truth that God's mercy has no limits. Saint Anthony has carried countless names for healing into heaven's courts, and yours is among them. Faith also means surrender. It's letting go of the illusion that you can force the outcome. The prayer that works instantly shifts control from your hands to God's, allowing Saint Anthony to move without your interference. Your impossible requests are seeds planted in the soil of faith. Some will sprout quickly, others will take time, but all will bear fruit in God's timing. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony is the daily water that keeps them alive. Even in financial emergencies, faith guards you against desperate choices. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony invites patience, wisdom, and divine direction. Heaven's solutions are always better than human quick fixes. When storms hit your home, faith becomes the anchor. Family restoration is not a fantasy, it's a promise to those who believe. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is the lighthouse guiding your loved ones back to safe shores. Faith will be tested. It will stretch you in ways you didn't expect. But the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony turns trials into testimonies. Each delay is a setup for a more powerful answer. When sickness weakens your body, faith tells you the healing is already on its way. The miraculous prayer today speaks life before symptoms change. Faith is believing it's done, even if the evidence hasn't arrived yet. Faith transforms financial advancement from wishful thinking into confident expectation. The prayer to Saint Anthony puts you in the path of provision. When God opens a door, you'll be ready to walk through it. Even your urgent miracle is shaped by the strength of your faith. The prayer that works instantly is not about manipulating God. It's about aligning yourself with His best outcome. Faith grows through repetition. Every time you speak the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, you're adding another layer of trust. Saint Anthony stands beside you, reinforcing your belief until the answer arrives. Your impossible requests are never too much for God to handle. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony proves that heaven specializes in what the world calls unrealistic. When doubt says nothing is changing, faith says, just wait. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony reminds you that the unseen is just as real as the visible. Heaven is already arranging your victory. Faith in family restoration keeps love alive while the process unfolds. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles doesn't just bring people together, it keeps them united in peace. Faith in financial advancement means you believe for provision without compromising your integrity. The prayer to Saint Anthony aligns you with blessings that are pure and lasting. Healing through faith isn't always about removing the pain instantly. Sometimes it's about receiving strength for the journey. The miraculous prayer today assures you that God's grace will sustain you until full restoration comes. Your urgent help is often closer than it appears. The prayer that works instantly allows you to see beyond the moment into the promise. Saint Anthony delivers your petitions to heaven, but it is faith that keeps your heart open to receive. The highest form of faith is gratitude before the miracle. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony teaches us to thank God now, sealing the blessing before it arrives. If you believe your faith is being strengthened right now and that your urgent miracle is secured, declare, "Glory to God, my faith is unshakable," surrendering completely to divine providence. Surrender is the highest expression of faith. It is the moment you say, "God, I release control because I trust you more than myself." Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you place your burdens into hands that never fail. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony reminds you that surrender is not giving up. It is opening the door to your miracle. Many try to manage every detail of their situation, but miracles often happen when we step back. The impossible prayer that works is not about forcing an outcome, but about creating space for heaven to act. Saint Anthony works best in lives willing to yield. If you face a financial emergency, surrender means trusting God to provide in ways you cannot orchestrate. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony shifts anxiety into expectation. Provision comes more easily when fear has been replaced by trust. In family restoration, surrender is allowing God to heal in His own way, not according to your script. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles teaches that some wounds require time, patience, and divine craftsmanship to mend. Saint Anthony is an expert in all three. When you need urgent help, surrender keeps you steady. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony reassures you that God is never late. Every apparent delay is actually preparation for a better blessing. Surrender is also the gateway to healing. Let go of the fear that you will never recover. The miraculous prayer today fills the empty spaces with hope and divine comfort. Saint Anthony has walked with the sick through the valley into recovery. Your impossible requests are safe in surrendered hands. The prayer that works instantly is a confession that you cannot, but God can. Saint Anthony brings these confessions directly to heaven's throne. When seeking financial advancement, surrender keeps you from chasing empty opportunities. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony invites strategies from above, ideas and doors you never considered. In cases where family restoration seems impossible, surrender means leaving space for God to change hearts without your interference. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony ensures those changes are lasting, not superficial. Sometimes the urgent help you seek comes disguised as a challenge. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, you can trust even the hard steps that lead to the blessing. Timing is a key part of surrender. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles reminds you that your clock and God's clock rarely match. But Saint Anthony knows how to align them perfectly. When seeking healing, surrender allows you to rest while God works. The miraculous prayer today assures you that even in stillness, progress is happening. For those in financial emergency, surrender transforms panic into peace. The prayer to Saint Anthony has brought unexpected provision to those who stopped grasping and started trusting. Impossible requests are heaven's specialty. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony gives you the courage to stop overthinking and start believing. When longing for family restoration, surrender stops you from forcing conversations before the time is right. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony ensures each step is covered in grace. If you're waiting for financial advancement, place your business, career, and resources in God's hands. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony has opened doors for those who thought their opportunities were gone forever. Urgent help sometimes requires letting go entirely. The prayer that works instantly cannot fill hands already clenched with worry. Open your hands, and heaven will fill them. Surrender in healing means allowing God to treat not just symptoms, but the roots of pain. The miraculous prayer today heals both visible and hidden wounds. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles can turn financial emergency into a testimony of God's provision. Surrender invites solutions you could not have planned. Your impossible requests will never be ignored in heaven. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony places them at the forefront of God's attention. In family restoration, surrender ensures the reconciliation is not rushed, but deeply rooted. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony builds bonds that can withstand future trials. When you need financial advancement, surrender allows God to position you perfectly. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony has been the hidden key in many success stories. In moments of urgent help, surrender can calm the storm in your heart before the storm in your life ends. The prayer that works instantly works best in a surrendered spirit. For complete healing, surrender every diagnosis and every fear. The miraculous prayer today is about restoration in every part of your being. Let this mystery remind you that surrender is the start, not the end, of your miracle. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles is your daily act of release. If you believe that surrendering your plans today will unlock your urgent miracle tomorrow, declare now, "Glory to God, I trust completely," trusting fully in the miracle, already in motion. Trust is the final step that turns your prayer into a testimony. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, you move from asking to resting in the certainty that heaven has heard you. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony reminds you that trust is not passive. It is an active choice to believe, even when you can't see the evidence yet. Doubt will try to whisper that nothing is happening, but faith responds, "It is already done." The impossible prayer that works carries your petitions straight to heaven, and Saint Anthony ensures they are presented without delay. In a financial emergency, trust acts as a shield against fear. The miraculous prayer to St. Anthony invites you to believe that provision is already on its way, even if the numbers haven't shifted yet. Family restoration often requires more trust than any other miracle. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles calls you to believe in healing long before it appears. St. Anthony works in hearts you cannot reach, softening them with divine love. When you cry out for urgent help, trust allows you to breathe while you wait. The infallible prayer to St. Anthony reassures you that divine timing is always precise. In seeking healing, trust means expecting progress even when you feel weak. The miraculous prayer today speaks wholeness over your body, mind, and spirit until full restoration comes. Your impossible requests are not too great for God's hands. The prayer that works instantly is proof that heaven moves faster than human logic. Trust keeps your heart ready to receive. For financial advancement, trust means waiting for the right door, not just any door. The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony aligns you with opportunities meant to bless, not burden. In family restoration, trust keeps you from forcing reconciliation. The miraculous prayer to St. Anthony prepares the way for genuine unity. Even in seasons of financial emergency, trust opens the path for creative solutions. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles has transformed scarcity into overflow for countless faithful hearts. Urgent help often arrives in unexpected forms. The infallible prayer to St. Anthony trains your spirit to recognize the blessing, even if it doesn't look like you imagined. For healing, trust serves as medicine for the soul. The miraculous prayer today holds you steady until the cure is visible. Trust for impossible requests shifts your language from if to when. The prayer that works instantly confirms that God's answer is certain. When believing for financial advancement, trust allows you to see setbacks as setups. The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony turns obstacles into opportunities. In family restoration, trust makes love stronger than pride. The miraculous prayer to St. Anthony builds a foundation that lasts beyond the first reunion. Even if urgent help feels delayed, trust says God is still working. The infallible prayer to St. Anthony guarantees no request is forgotten. For healing, trust doesn't deny pain. It declares pain will not win. The miraculous prayer today anchors you in that truth. Your impossible requests are never too late for heaven's timeline. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles reminds you that God specializes in perfect timing. In financial advancement, trust keeps you grounded so you can handle the blessing wisely. The prayer to St. Anthony prepares you for both the gift and the responsibility. Family restoration through trust allows relationships to heal naturally without pressure. The miraculous prayer to St. Anthony nurtures forgiveness and peace. When you need urgent help, trust says, God's plan is better than mine. The infallible prayer to St. Anthony affirms this again and again. In healing, trust reminds you that progress is happening in ways you may not see. The miraculous prayer today reassures your heart that restoration is inevitable. Trust in impossible requests creates space for God to exceed your expectations. The prayer that works instantly allows miracles to arrive bigger than you dreamed. When financial emergency tries to break your hope, trust is the anchor that keeps you steady. The very powerful prayer to St. Anthony ensures your provision will arrive at the perfect moment. In family restoration, trust is the glue that holds reconciliation together. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles keeps love alive long after the first, "I'm sorry." Let this mystery seal your spirit with peace. If you believe your urgent miracle is already unfolding and will soon manifest, declare now, "Glory to God, I trust completely in the miracle. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, fill your heart and your home in this very moment. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, may every shadow of fear be replaced with the light of faith. Let your soul rest in the promise that God's timing is perfect and that your urgent miracle is already on the way. I bless your home to be a refuge of love, harmony, and joy. Through the very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, may every room carry the fragrance of peace, every table be filled with provision, and every heart overflow with gratitude. For those walking through a financial emergency, I bless your hands to receive unexpected provision and open opportunities. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony declares that scarcity will give way to abundance. May resources flow into your life without sorrow attached. I bless your relationships with unity, trust, and reconciliation. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, may every broken bond be healed, every silent space be filled with love, and every home be restored in harmony. I speak healing into your body, mind, and spirit. The miraculous prayer today calls forth wholeness from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. No illness, pain, or weakness will have the final word over you. May your impossible requests meet with heaven's perfect answer. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, I declare that what seemed unreachable will now be placed in your hands in God's perfect time. For those seeking financial advancement, may divine ideas, promotions, and new streams of income find you. The prayer to Saint Anthony affirms that your work will be rewarded and your faith honored. May urgent help arrive exactly when you need it. The impossible prayer that works assures that heaven is already in motion, sending assistance that is timely, precise, and abundant. I bless your heart with unwavering faith. The very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony reminds you that even in the waiting, God's hand is working for your good. I bless your children, spouse, and loved ones with divine protection and wisdom. Through the miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, may they walk in safety and be guided daily by God's love. For every tear you have cried in secret, may God return joy in abundance. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles turns mourning into dancing and sorrow into testimony. I declare restoration over everything the enemy tried to take from you. The miraculous prayer today assures that you will not only recover, but will thrive beyond your expectations. I bless your decisions with clarity and divine guidance. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, may each step you take be ordered and fruitful. I speak peace over your nights and hope over your mornings. The prayer that works instantly reminds you that you are never walking alone. Saint Anthony is interceding for you. May this blessing remain over your life, your home, and your future. Through the very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, may you live each day in the overflow of grace, faith, and miracles. May your faith be like a steady flame that never goes out, even in the darkest night. Through this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, let courage rise in your heart and peace guard your thoughts. You are not forgotten. Heaven is working for you. I bless your days with divine opportunities and your nights with restful sleep. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony assures that every step you take is guided by God's wisdom and protection. May your home be a place where miracles are not the exception, but the atmosphere. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, let love be your foundation and joy your constant companion. I bless your finances to flourish honestly and abundantly. The prayer to Saint Anthony calls forth financial advancement that is steady, lasting, and filled with gratitude. May your health be renewed daily. Through the miraculous prayer today, let every cell of your body respond to God's life-giving touch, bringing strength and vitality. I bless your dreams and goals, that they align perfectly with heaven's plan. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony ensures that what you pursue will bear fruit and glorify God. May your impossible requests become powerful testimonies of God's goodness. The impossible prayer that works turns barriers into breakthroughs and closed doors into open gates. I bless your relationships with patience, forgiveness, and unconditional love. Through the very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, may every bond be strengthened and every wound be healed. May your future be filled with divine surprises. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony paves the way for blessings you didn't see coming, but always hoped for. I bless your spirit with unshakable hope. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles seals your life with the certainty that God's promises never fail. From this day forward, walk knowing your miracle is already in motion. May the presence of God fill every corner of your home, bringing warmth, safety, and joy. Through this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, let your house become a sanctuary where peace never fades. I bless your mornings to start with hope and your evenings to end with gratitude. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony will guard your heart through every moment of the day. May your steps be firm and your path clear. The powerful Catholic prayer for miracles ensures that no trap of the enemy will prosper against you. I bless your hands to create, build, and prosper. Through the prayer to Saint Anthony, may your work bring satisfaction, provision, and the joy of accomplishment. May your urgent help arrive with perfect timing, never too early, never too late. The impossible prayer that works is already aligning the right people and resources to bless you. I bless your health with renewed strength and vitality. Through the miraculous prayer today, let every weakness be replaced by divine energy and resilience. May your mind be filled with wisdom and understanding. The infallible prayer to Saint Anthony keeps confusion far from you and clarity close at hand. I bless your family restoration to be deep, genuine, and lasting. Through the very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, may hearts soften and love overflow. May your finances grow steadily without loss or harm. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony declares that abundance will be your portion. I bless your dreams to be greater than your fears. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, may you have the courage to step into everything God has prepared for you. May every door meant for you open easily and every wrong door close quickly. The prayer to Saint Anthony keeps your path aligned with heaven's plan. I bless your faith to remain unshakable, no matter the season. The miraculous prayer today is your anchor when storms arise. May your impossible requests be met with heaven's best solutions. The impossible prayer that works turns the unthinkable into reality. I bless your relationships with trust, loyalty, and joy. Through the very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, may no division take root among those you love. May your nights be free from fear and full of rest. The miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony will surround you with God's peace as you sleep. I bless your tongue to speak life and blessing into every situation. Through the powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, may your words create hope wherever they are heard. May you walk in favor with both God and people. The prayer to Saint Anthony will cause opportunities to find you wherever you go. I bless your spirit with resilience to overcome every trial. The miraculous prayer today assures that no battle will defeat you. May the joy of answered prayer be your constant testimony. Through the infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, may every season end in victory. I bless you now with the fullness of God's love, the abundance of His provision, and the certainty that your urgent miracle is already unfolding. Walk in faith, for heaven has declared it so. What if today was the exact turning point in your story? What if this was the moment heaven began to move in ways you never imagined? Are you willing to believe that your urgent miracle is already unfolding? Will you choose faith over fear, trust over doubt, and gratitude over complaint? Imagine looking back and realizing that this was the day your impossible requests started to manifest. If you knew for certain that your blessing was coming, how would you live differently, starting right now? What words would you speak? What thoughts would you allow into your heart? Let this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony be the line in the sand where your old season ends and your new season begins. Your life will not be the same after this prayer. If this prayer touched your heart, share it so that others may also experience the power of this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles. You could be the reason someone receives hope today. Write Amém in the comments as a public declaration of your faith. Your testimony can be the seed of someone else's breakthrough. Like this video so more people can find it and receive their urgent help through the intercession of Saint Anthony. Subscribe to this channel and join our prayer family, so every time we lift our voices together, you are here to receive the blessing heaven has for you. Share this prayer now with those you love.